Have you ever had that experience where you're listening to a speaker, someone that you know around the office, someone who's always casual and is a fantastic raconteur, but suddenly you put them on a stage and suddenly they're standing there with their hands in front of their crotch doing the stance that we like to call the execution at dawn? I mean, it happens, right? To all of us, maybe even to you. Well, today I'm talking to speaker and presentation coach Thaddeus Smith about body language and how we use body language in presentations. Thad, how do you do that?
I'll give you three numbers: 55, 38, 7.
Okay.
Mean anything to you?
No.
Well, there was a great researcher at UCLA who determined that 55% of communication cues come from the physical, from the visual. 38% come from the tone. Just 7% come from the words themselves. 55, visual. 38, tone. 7, the words. So you can see how very important your physical presence is to an audience.
So if I come up on a stage and I'm like, I really want to tell you about.
They want the.
I'm a very successful businessman.
They want you out of there. So you see people all the time. If you look out these windows, you see people on their cell phones. They're gesturing. They're talking. At the airport today, all sorts of people engage. They're connected. Their mind is connected with their speech, and their gestures become perfectly natural.
So why is it that so many people say, I don't know what to do with my hands? What do I do with my hands?
This is the #1 thing we hear, and so you take the most gregarious, the best storyteller in your office, and you bring them up for a sales presentation, and it becomes execution at dawn. This is a great one. There's the do you have a pen on you?
Yes.
There's the pen clicker, the guy that does this the entire time to dissipate their energy. There's the hip hugger. There's the
how about this?
Yeah, the chief. This is a great one too. And all of these gestures, they diminish.
So how do you solve this?
The best way to solve it is to identify it and attack it. As a coach, and you want to work with the people that you're writing for and make sure they understand what they're doing that is diminishing their power. If they're doing this, you want to get them down into what I call the go position. The #1 thing, this is where they are. They're relaxed, they're powerful, their legs are shoulder width apart, hip width apart, and from here they begin their presentation.
Well, I have a question for you I've always wanted to ask.
Yep.
So many of the speakers that appear at Reagan conferences don't understand that often a stationary still position is one of power.
Yeah.
And what they do is, have you ever seen the rocking speaker?
Yeah, or happy feet, just back and forth.
Why is that? Why is that comfortable to them?
It's all about dissipation of nerves. That's exactly what it is. It's when you're not connected to your material, that's when you need to dissipate. Once you're connected, once you've rehearsed, once you've seen a videotape, all these elements come together to make a really fine presentation.
Okay, what about the lectern? I often see these people, kind of grabbing onto lecterns for dear life.
The death grip.
Yeah, do you get rid of the lectern?
Joe Biden is a genius at this. Only he should do this because he's great at it. Everyone else should pretend it's not there.
Okay.
Sometimes you have no choice. You must use the podium or the lectern because that's where the amplification is.
What does Joe Biden do that's so great?
He's so intense that,
that it works for him.
It works for him.
Okay.
You just feel like he's going to launch. I love the man. So I really do. So the key is if you can get out in front, if you give them a full frontal, that's what you want to do. If you can't, then you pretend it's not there. You pretend it's made of glass. You pretend that the audience can see right through you. So what you want to do is you want to use the podium, but only as a source of amplification. If you can get out in front, always do. The master of this, 1984, Democratic National Convention, Mario Cuomo gave one of the finest speeches behind a podium that you'll ever see. He moves his body towards the audience, 3 to 5 seconds, speaks with great passion, gestures appropriately, and never goes.
And yet he's behind a lectern.
And yet he's behind the lectern the whole time. Absolutely beautiful.
Any others that you can think of? We had the crossed arms. We had, the Jack Benny. We
covered the chief. We covered the execution at dawn. We covered the pen clicker.
Yeah.
This is another one. I call this the modified.
What about hands in pocket?
Hands in pocket is another one. It really, really dissipates. But this is. Do you remember the Von Trapp family in Sound of Music when they would sing?
Yeah.
Same thing. It's this one. It's
like what I'm doing right now.
Right. Exactly right. You got to stop. I'll hit the bell. So those are the tips.
Yeah. Good. Thank you so much for coming.
You bet.